Good day, everybody.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to episode 17 of the Good Day podcast, where Maxie and I talk about our adventures down under and beyond.
So sorry for the wait. Sorry, Mai.
I feel like it hasn't even been that long though.
I think it's been like over a week or.
Yeah, we've been
For
longer,
sure.
but with our fan base growing and we have to keep the content pushing. We got to keep it out here.
You gotta keep up with the demand.
Yeah, and we were busy. We were driving. We were out and about and just wandering this good old Australia.
Western Australia with Marshall.
Yeah, sadly, our good old pal Marshall is not with us anymore. He's still in Broome.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. He is leaving, going back to the States, and yeah, we went our ways, and it was a fantastic 3 weeks we had with him.
Yeah, I think we would have recorded this podcast with him, but we just kind of got super busy.
Yeah, I got busy, had a big drive today, and yeah, that's that. But I think last time we talked to everybody, we were chilling on the beach in Exmouth and just hanging out on the beach with some cars driving by and chilling.
Yeah, so we spent like four nights, 5 days in Exmouth.
Yeah, 4 nights, 5 days.
It was sweet. I loved it.
Yeah.
Basically where the desert meets the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Orangey rocks speckled with green bushes here and there, meeting the crystal clear aqua blue turquoise water.
Yeah, the water was absolutely gorgeous there, and it was finally, every time we would go snorkeling, I would tell Marshall and Maxie, I'd say, don't worry, the water it's got so much warmer. It's like going from Connecticut to Florida. That's the water temperature difference. And there it finally got, most of the time it wasn't that warm. We were cold most of the times after like a 20-minute swim. But there it was actually, you could stay in the water for an hour and be all right. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was gorgeous, and that's where the Ningaloo Reef is. So
Yeah.
it's one of the most famous reefs.
I think it's the second biggest reef in the world next to the Great Barrier Reef. So it's like Great Barrier Reef is on the
East Coast.
Yeah, and then the Ningaloo Reef is on the West Coast. And the Ningaloo Reef is so cool because most of it you can see just from the beach. So you walk right off the beach and then you're in the reef.
Yeah, you walk 2 feet out and you dive right in, start snorkeling, and you're at the coral.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. We had a bunch of fun snorkeling spots. I think some of my favorites were Turquoise Bay, called the Drift area. It was really fun.
Yeah, and there we also did oyster stacks and lakeside and probably a few other places.
Yeah, and there's just so much wildlife. The coral was beautiful. The wildlife we saw, big rays.
Massive rays. They're kind of scary.
That was at Lakeside, right?
Yeah.
That one was crazy.
We thought Lakeside would be a really chill snorkel area because it's called Lakeside, but no, it had the most animals. We saw a shark there.
Yeah,
right
it was
below
sweet.
us.
It was so cool. I think Coral Bay though. I like Coral Bay a little bit more than the other places that we went to. That like it was just had everything. It was too bad there was a big coral die off, but it would have been really cool to see when all the coral was alive.
Yeah.
But the Exmouth and Ningaloo Reef was amazing, and I would totally go back snorkeling there.
Yeah, Coral Bay was really cool, and seeing the sea turtle right away was so special. But we saw, like, how many sea turtles in Exmouth?
Every single time we went in the water, we saw a sea turtle. We saw 2 of them dancing. They were amazing.
We saw the granddaddy of all granddaddy sea turtles.
He was an ancient one.
He was huge. One of the sea turtles came right up to Kory and I and basically like tilted its shell for us to pet it. We're not supposed to pet them, but he basically asked to be pet.
He needed a little pat or something. And we stayed at a really cool caravan park. They're the option. So the city of Exmouth, or town, I think it's got less people than Brantford. It's only got like it's got way less people than Brantford. I think the population is only 3,000. So it's a tenth of the size of Brantford. And it's a 40-minute drive to like all the good snorkel spots. And you could either stay in the town. There's 3 caravan parks there, or one like caravan park on the side of the peninsula that all the snorkeling's on, and that was called Yardie Creek, and they were awesome. They had a nice cafe. They had morning yoga. Yeah.
$5 a person, Australian dollars, so that's like
Three.
$3 in US dollars. So we did yoga one day, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, we got a good morning routine going, enjoying a little cup of coffee, going then out and snorkeling our heart's desire.
And we had these funny neighbors that were super Australian with their caravan, and they would just sit out front of their caravan under their awning and just. We don't think that they did anything in Exmouth except sit at the caravan park. And then they were leaving the same day as us to go to Karijini, and we just guessed that they probably just go from stop to stop to stop along the popular road trip, and they don't actually go see the sights. They just sit at the caravan parks.
We never saw them leave. It was wild.
They were always there with their friends, and they were funny.
They were having a good time though. They were just chillaxing.
Yeah, they were from Noosa.
Yeah.
And Kory was in the shower, and the guy came up to me for the first time, and he was like, "Oh, there's only 2 of you tonight." And it was just me and Marshall, like, sitting and not talking to each other. And I was like, "Oh no, we have the third of us is in the shower." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he started chatting with me, and I said, "My husband." And then he was like, "Is this your husband right here?" And I was like, "No, that's his best friend." And then he started making jokes about how his ex-wife, ran away with his best friend. And then Marshall and I were like, "All right, buddy, like, this is real weird now." But he was just some crazy Australian man. He was so funny.
Yeah, and I got chatting with him. He had a nice truck.
Yeah, he used to own a 4x4 shop.
Mm-hmm.
Cool guy. And then Marshall, we had a few great dinners at Yardie and Exmouth. Kory made steaks, Marshall made chili on our outdoor cooktop, and that guy was yapping about how good it smelled.
Yeah.
It was kangaroo chili.
Yeah, kangaroo chili, which was really good, and it's the classic, like, what do you cook in starter pack? That smells good, and Marshall just had, like, garlic and onions in there, and the guy was like, "Oh, you better make some for me."
But besides that, Exmouth and the Ningaloo Reef is known for whale sharks around this time. We didn't actually get to go see them, but we did ask the information center if we could sign up, and she was an actual robot.
Yeah, all the customer service people here are just, they're not good. They're just, customer service in this country has got to step it up, because like at any visitor center in like any national park in the States, you'll get the nicest, friendliest people who really want to be there and like love their job, love the national park, want to tell you about it. But this lady was just like, literally, it's like an answering machine. She was repeating like the same facts over and over, and just like not a nice person. Well, she was fine, but it was just like,
yeah, she just kept saying like, "There's 10 boats, there's 3 captains, there's 3 spotter planes, there's 20 people per boat, there's blah 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 blah, there's 6 whale sharks, and it's all booked." She just kept repeating stats, and basically made us feel stupid for asking to sign up.
Yeah, and then in Exmouth was the first time we noticed we had some followers, and it was the French. There was just a group of French people who we first saw in Coral Bay.
Because we ate lunch right next to them.
We ate lunch right next to them, and then we saw they had distinct cars that had like the front tire ratchet strapped to the front bumper, and there was a posse of about 4 cars, all silver cars. And so we would see them on and on until, I don't know, when the last Karijini.
We saw them in Karijini.
Yeah, which was 8 hours away from, no, probably 10 hours away from Coral Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy that people, like, we noticed people, and we were wondering if they noticed us.
Because everyone really takes the same road trips at the same time of year.
Yeah, this is peak season up here.
Yeah, and in Exmouth, there's a lot of Americans, I guess. We didn't run into them, but, well, there was an American country music bar, which was fun. But there's an American, like, military base.
So the town was started because the Americans were like, hey, we're going to build, like, a military base here to... Basically, it was a communication station that they built, and it was the tallest structure in the southern hemisphere. and
Taller than the Empire State Building and the Eiffel Tower.
yeah, it's big. And the Americans were just like, yeah, this is a low frequency communication device. So we had our theories on what it could be.
It looks really sketchy there.
Yeah, they don't really tell you any information besides it is a low range frequency transmitter. I think they said they built it to communicate with submarines in World War One and World War Two, but the people, I watched a video on it, and some people said that like the FAA of Australia what questioned them, and they're like, why are our planes losing power when we go over this thing? And they're like, just fly around it. So just shows America has tons of power here. I thought it was a communication device with Atlantis.
Probably. But then after Exmouth, we headed out to the outback.
The proper outback, yeah.
Karijini National Park. I think it was a 7-hour drive inland.
Yeah.
Like straight from the coast inland. And that was so cool.
Karijini was one of the coolest places. It was a top 5 national park I've ever seen, including all the national parks I've seen in the States. One of my favorite in Australia. Like, it was so unique and different, and a lot of people, or we found this nice free camp spot where we set up shop, and
the stars
right outside the park. Yeah, I took out the camera and got some sick shots. The best night photography I've ever done was from Karijini.
Yeah, our camera is working awesome, and Kory's a phenomenal photographer. So check out his Insta page to see those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But Karijini was also probably one of my favorite national parks here, besides like Esperance. And
Yes.
I've never ever done anything like it. So basically, it's a bunch of gorges with water, and you hike through the gorges, and sometimes you have to hike through deep water, and sometimes you have to swim through the narrow walls of the canyon or gorge, instead of just walking through. Like, you have to leave all your bags on a rock and swim.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, exactly what Maxie was saying. You start at the top of the gorge and you walk down these steep stairs, climb down basically, and then to get to like the final like swimming pool area, you got to wade through water, ditch your bags, and then just get in your bathing suit and just swim in this freezing cold water that's at the bottom of these gorges. And it was so fun. Like, the hikes down there were amazing.
It was so special with like the orangey, curvy rock walls on the side and the clear fresh water. And then you just go super, super deep, and all you can see is the walls of the rock walls and
It was awesome.
the water continuing on.
And that one the first one we did was Kermit's Pool, I think. It's like, if you ever have seen videos of like the Narrows in Zion, it's like that, but it's like more warm, I think. And then another gorge we went to was called Hammersley Gorge. And I love off-roading, but just long journeys off-road is sometimes gets me stressed, just because.
Just don't believe him when he says I love off-roading.
I love it. It's so fun. I just just dirt roads and.
Just let me drive.
Yeah.
If it stresses you out so much.
But I just want the car to be all right. You know, it's our home, and I don't want anything to happen to it. But the Hammersley Gorge was worth the drive. It wasn't even that long. It was about 45 minutes on this partly corrugated dirt road, and we got out there, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't understand about Australia is, like, they will not pave. Like, this is the most popular gorge out of the whole national park, and you just can't get there unless you off-road for an hour. So I just don't get why they pave some, like, really popular short hiking trails to iconic viewpoints where you don't even feel like you're hiking at some national parks, but then they don't pave the road to the most popular thing at other national parks.
Yeah, in Hammersley Gorge, I saw it on Instagram or YouTube, and it just looked so stunning. It was basically this warm pool, could they called the spa, that had a waterfall running into it, and then all the water trickled down into another gorge and another gorge. It was like a 7 step layer uh, waterfall, but like into gorges and like little swimming pools, which was really fun to swim at and enjoy the time there.
It was jaw-dropping, spectacular, really beautiful. Like I said, I've never done anything like this. Um, and you're not supposed to jump in because there's rocks and stuff. But Kory and Marshall and I all jumped in,
Well,
and
it was a safe spot. I
yeah, it
mean,
was
it's
fine. It
like
was
there's
fine.
no other way you can really get in there.
It was fine. And then this family with two little kids, they kept yelling, "Why did they jump in? Why did they jump in?" And I was like, "Ah, because we're bad." Um, but yeah, we got called out by little boys.
Yeah, we probably could have spent another day in Karijini, but like we kind of saw it all. There was maybe one thing we had to do, or like, but we kind of saw it all in a day and really loved it. We also checked out. We were gonna stay at the Karijini Eco Lodge, but they didn't have any space for us, so we were like, let's just leave today. Like, we checked that out a lot. That's fine. Um, so yeah, then we went on our way, and Marshall loved Roadhouses from because he got all ads for the movie Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, and he's like, "Oh, we got to go to all the Roadhouses," and so there was one we could stay at, and honestly, it was one of the nicest Roadhouses ever.
Yeah, Kory read the reviews before we got there, and the reviews were amazing.
The stars weren't good. It was only 3.5 stars, but we still have to review that one.
Like the what people wrote about it was really, really all positive.
Yeah.
We thought Marshall was joking because he wanted to stay at the Roadhouse so bad, and he kept reading us all these beautifully written positive reviews, and we were like, "You're skipping all the bad ones," and he was like, "No, they're all positive."
Yeah, so I forget what it was called. I think it was like Askita,
Oh,
Aweska,
Ozki,
Oski, yeah.
Auski.
They had a full restaurant in there that had like buffet roasts, and Marshall got half a chicken.
I had a really good burger.
Yeah, what did I have? I think I had a burger as well. Or no, I had a chicken burger. Um,
And the bathrooms were like a bunch of private, like, en suite bathrooms.
yeah, and this was never before seen. Free wash and dryer. That's incredible.
Free laundry. So that was
Yeah,
great.
and all I could think about there, well, just Maxie and Marshall making fun of me because the car. I wanted to get a car wash, and these guys don't believe in taking care of their things. So I wanted to take care of my house, my home that we're living out of. Like, when you rub up against it, you get this red dirt on you that'll never come out of your clothes.
It will.
No, it never comes out.
Okay.
And then they were like, "Oh, you want to get a car wash so bad?" But
Because
that's the
we.
first thing we did when we got to Port Hedland because I was in control. I'm the head of the ship.
Well, what we really think he wanted was to spray down his bike because his bike sits on the
Yeah, I
back of
felt
the
bad for my
car.
bike too.
His bike was all red. But fair enough. I think I would love to go back to Karijini. Like, if I was back in Western Australia, I would make the drive back there.
Yeah, I would too. I'd spend some more time
It
there.
was so special.
Except for was there flies? Couple flies.
I don't even know. But Port Hedland was very interesting. It was so much bigger than we expected from these little like remote cities that you hit or big towns you hit on these remote road trips. This was like a very large town with suburbs.
Yeah, Port Hedland was large. It was probably one of the biggest towns in the area. Just from pictures online, it just looked like a dystopia, like
Because it's a big port.
massive, like iron ore. Most of like I think all of Australia's iron ore basically comes out of there. And if you Google a Port Hedland, it just comes up with like these machines and just what you think of like a Mad Max dystopia.
And Australia's salt
Yeah, so
is
there.
mined there or something.
Yeah,
Not
most.
mine. Wait, I don't know
No,
how it works.
all the exports of salt and iron ore leave from there, and a bunch of other like materials. Like I think lithium was another big one, and cobalt maybe I forget. But those were like the big exports from the port, and we got to see all the ships in the harbor.
They're like straight out of China.
Yeah. So this is how Australia's economy works. They mine for iron, ship the iron to China, so China buys the iron, and then China makes it into steel, and then ships it back to Australia, and Australia buys the steel.
Sounds like you and your conch.
Yeah, but we don't buy anything from China.
True. But yeah, I kind of liked Port Hedland. I wouldn't want to stay longer than we did, but they had like
It was perfect for like a 3-hour stop.
yeah, they had really nice people. Like that was our first restaurant in a long time that we were like, wow, that was a nice interaction, which was a train cafe, an American train car, multiple train cars.
Yeah, you know when it's a train car, it's gonna be a good food, good service, and that was fun.
And they made it into a restaurant, which was really cute. And there's ads for a naturopath in town, and so it was like a nice sized town with normal people.
Yeah, and some of the things you could do there, they're like, oh, we went to the information center, and they were actually nice in there. They're like, you could go see, there's sea turtles here all the time. Went and checked out the sea turtles. We saw like 10.
Yeah, instantly.
Yeah, instantly just coming up for air and just
Swimming.
paddling around. There was something they called the pretty pools. We didn't really have high expectations for these pools, but they were like, yeah, you could swim in here at low tide. So when someone says you could swim in a place at low tide, that's like
sketch.
Yeah, and we checked them out.
The reason being low tide is because when it's connected to like, I guess it gets cut off at low tide and it's not connected to like the big ocean.
Yeah.
But at high tide, the tide swings are huge that if you're in it at high tide and the tide changes, you could get like swept out.
Yeah, like sucked out, yeah.
But she was like, if you go swimming there, be careful of stonefish. Shuffle your feet on the floor. They're the most poisonous fish ever.
Yeah, we didn't know we were like, we saw a warning about stonefish earlier, and then just yesterday, I read that stonefish are the most poisonous fish in the world. And she was like, oh yeah, just watch out for them.
Yeah, she's like, shuffle your feet so that you kick them away.
Yeah, and then we also were like, found out that like cone snails can like snap out and bite you and then
kill you within 1 to 5 hours. And
yeah.
Marshall was like, I saw a ton of those at the reef in Exmouth. But Pretty Pool was kind of pretty, but it was full of mangroves, which is so creepy because like we're in the land of sea snakes
and
crocs. But thank you to Port Hedland for getting Kory and Marshall obsessed with mining.
Oh, mining is the way to make money. If you could just get people to work for you and don't pay them, well, no, for mines you got to pay people, but just digging stuff out of the earth and selling it, it's free money. So we love mines now.
They watched like 50 videos about mining and FIFO, which is fly in, fly out work. And
yeah, mines are cool.
Yeah, I feel like you guys watched like
just like digging holes in the backyard. We only watched 2 videos.
Oh, but then you watched like weird car videos. That must have been something else.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, the mining is a cool thing. And
Dakar.
That was on off-roading.
Oh, okay.
Video. Yeah, that's the off-roading classic. Yeah, and after Port Hedland, we headed out. Basically, there's not really much in between Port Hedland and Broome. I think it's like probably 9 hours or something like that. 8? No, probably not that long. I think it's only about 6 hours.
Yeah.
And the only stop was this caravan park called 80 Mile Beach. And I think the joke is the beach isn't actually 80 miles. It's like 150 miles.
Yeah. But you can't swim there, believe it or not. It's like this gorgeous beach, and they do not recommend swimming. I mean, you could go ahead and do it, but...
First thing they said to us.
Yeah, the first thing the receptionist said at the caravan park was...
No swimming because of...
The S's. Yeah. Did she say the S's, or did you come up with that?
No, she was like, because of stingrays, and sharks.
Stingrays, sharks, sea snakes.
No, she didn't say all the S's, but she just said those 3.
Yeah, and we were or four, and we were like, wow, they're all S's. And then Kory added a bunch of other S's.
Yeah, the deadly S's of Australia: sharks, saltwater crocodiles, stingers, uh,
Sea snakes.
sea snakes, stingrays.
Um,
I
and
forget
then
them
you
all.
said sea turtle for
Sea
fun,
turtle.
but those are nice. But something really special about the 80 Mile Beach Caravan Park was they had these rock wallabies. I didn't know they existed. They're smaller than a wallaby. They're about the size of a big rabbit.
Oh, the ones are adorable. The baby
They're
ones.
so
They're
cute.
like rabbits, but they're all
Yeah,
kangaroos.
they hop away like kangaroos. Honestly, I'm obsessed with them, and we haven't seen them since. But they
Yeah.
were like all over that caravan park.
Yeah, it was funny to see them. They had like very sharp features. Like, I don't know. I'd say they almost looked more Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But shout out to Kory for making smash burgers on the blacktop there. It was so good.
Smash burgers, fire. And the next morning, oh, this was actually the worst caravan park, and it's not their fault. Just because it was wicked humid when we were going to bed, and then downpoured all the next day, or just like all the next morning, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta get up and deal with all this wet stuff. So I took all the chairs in, took all the stuff we left outside. I left my towel outside, and then there was like some shade in like this little veranda outside of the coffee shop, and it was like 7 a.m. and I was like, all right, hopefully they'll be open for like I can chill, have a hot cup of coffee, and relax. I get up to the door. It says cafe opens 8:30. So I was like, I guess that's only an hour and a half away. I just sat there and did nothing for an hour and a half until people started rolling in and they were just talking to me. One guy just talked my absolute ear off about nonsense. And finally it opened up and we got our coffees. And never seen the guy again now.
And the worker there told Kory that the dirt road that we took to get down to that caravan
Yeah.
park was gonna make his car all red. So rip
Not
to that
even
car
red.
wash.
It was all mud. Oh, the worst.
Yeah, but it kept raining, so I don't even think that it left a mark on our car. It got rewashed.
Our car needs another car wash, I think.
Oh, and I wanted to say, yeah, probably. When we arrived at 80 Mile Beach, it was perfectly in time to run to the beach and see the sunset. I feel like we have really good timing with a lot of things, and that was good timing. It was beautiful. But as me, Kory, and Marshall were having our coffee, we realized that the Daily Mail published a expose. No, not an expose, but just an article about Marshall and the TikTok I made of him getting his hair cut. And they wrote the title that women are swooning for me because I made one change. And he never said any of that, which is like the funniest part. The author just wanted to make a clickbait title.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I don't know if Marshall really liked the publicity to start, but
I think he secretly loves it.
maybe he secretly loves it. I don't know.
But he acts like he doesn't. But it's so funny that the Daily Mail wrote that. Like, the author messaged me and was asking for pictures and stuff. So I sent her those. And then a bunch of other media outlets copied and pasted her article. So
Yeah, it's hilarious. We're hoping that when you Google Marshall's name, that's the number one article that comes up.
And the author linked the G'day podcast.
Yeah, so maybe
and
we got
our
some
wedding
more
photo.
listeners now.
She linked some good content. But that was so funny. We were dying laughing reading the article as it was raining. And as we kept sitting there, Kory and Marshall got into Google reviews.
Yeah, so Marshall is a level 7 Google reviewer, and he was telling me that, like, it just is, like, a lot of work and no reward. And kind of, I've never been a Google fan, like Google Maps fan, until I've come down here. It's just so much better, because if you can, like, just type it in to Google Maps like it's Google, you could be like, best cafes around, and the best cafes will show up. If you do that on Apple Maps, it doesn't really work out that well. But Google is really good. It has pictures. You don't have to like download Yelp. So we were talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a level 7." And we're like, "How do you get to level 7?" He's like, "I have 2,000 reviews, or 2,000 impressions." And so we just started like reviewing, and like seeing how we could game the system to get the best you could get is a level 10 reviewer. But there's no real benefit to it besides like benefiting your community and like the place. So we only leave good reviews and a couple bad ones. What
Yeah,
was the
but
last bad review we left?
the caravan park in Exmouth City.
Yeah, that one wasn't that good.
But I think on the account that we're getting our high ranking for Google reviews on, we only have 5-star reviews or high reviews.
Though I gave a place a 2-star review because they weren't what they said they were.
What place?
The Pretty Pools Lookout.
The
Yeah,
lookout.
Pretty Pools Lookout wasn't looking at the pretty pools.
Oh my gosh. But anyways, Kory's level 5
Yeah, and
on our shared email.
it's only growing.
Um,
But yeah, after that we had about a 4-hour drive to Broome, and
I feel like it was short because remember we hung out like all day at the caravan park.
yeah, it was short, but like we got just because it was raining, we got on the road late.
Yeah.
But like I put up a forum chat on WikiCamps. I didn't even know it was possible, but WikiCamps is basically just the camper van app telling you where to stay, where not to stay, and that also has reviews, and that's kind of what got us into the reviews. But I put up a question like, how good is Broome? Like, how long would you stay there? And it is a very mixed community. People saying it's dangerous. It's
Like people were fighting on Kory's question.
yeah, people love it, people hate it, and
They're arguing with each other.
yeah. So we kind of had low expectations going into Broome. They had like high crime statistics, but people
Well,
were
like
saying,
small crime.
well, they had like a lot of crime that was like mostly domestic. Uh, but
Or like car break-in.
yeah, I mean not like murders.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pistol Wave in New Haven might hold the title there.
yeah. But
Kidding.
we didn't really have that good of expectations for it. We were like, let's see how it is, and we'll check it out. If we don't like it, we could keep moving on. And it was pretty lovely. Like, it was nice. I didn't really have any expectations, but I liked it. I liked Broome.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. I love the colors there, like the orange and red rocks and the blue beach, the white sand, the rocks scattered on the beach, the camels, the palm trees.
Yeah.
Really great colors.
It was a pretty town, and
There was like nice Asian culture there because it's on the northwest of Australia near Southeast Asia.
yeah, but that's not really only the it has a lot of Asian influence because of the pearlers. It's known for its pearling industry, and Chinese and Japanese pearlers migrated there when they discovered that their mother pearl oyster, produced pearls, and then that's kind of what took off the boom down there.
Yeah, and I like the architecture. It reminded me of the European style buildings in Singapore, like the Raffles Hotel.
Yeah, it was cool. And similar to the Raffles Hotel, you thought was this place called Matzo's.
Yeah, it was a brewery.
Yeah, it was the famous brewery down there, and they had chili mango ginger beers.
Yeah, we all did a little tasting of the chili drink, and it was so spicy. Like I don't.
Spiciest drink I've ever had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I love spicy, but I don't know why they felt the need to make it that spicy. So the nice waitress was like, "Oh, I can have them make you your drink 20% spicy chili ginger beer and 80% normal ginger beer, and that's like a better ratio." So I had her do that, and it was perfect.
Yeah, that
They
one
should sell
definitely
it
came
like
out
that.
better. Yeah. And I had a mango beer, which was really good, and Marshall just had the classic ginger beer.
And
And it was just a fun place, but it was absolutely downpouring again. Well, it was kind of raining all day that day that we got there, which was really uncommon because the book, our travel book, was like, oh, the winter is the balmy, dry season for Broome, and I'll tell you what, that when we were there, it was not dry.
yeah, it said the wet season could go to late
Even
May,
today we were
early
there.
June. Yeah.
But today it was pouring in rain in the morning.
Yeah, I guess it's a late wet season this year. But one of like the most, probably the most iconic thing you could do in Broome is take a camel beach sunset walk. And we signed up for that. but it got canceled because of the rain.
Yeah,
So
it got canceled, and we just rescheduled it.
yeah, we rescheduled it, and then we were also supposed to find like the Thursday night famous farmers market, but I think because the rain, it got canceled. So we went all the way there, and like
Yeah.
we went on this long walk to try to find it, and we weren't catching on to the fact that it just didn't exist.
Yeah, it didn't exist. So the balmy dry season turned out to be a rainy day at Broome, and it was just canceled. So we ended up going into town. Marshall, for some reason, he was like, "This place has good Thai food and Balinesian food and just Asian food," and we're like, "Oh, we have to go get all you could eat Thai buffet." But those don't exist, so we just went to a Thai. Actually, we went to a Balinese restaurant, which is the first time I've had Bali food, and
Me
it was great.
too. I think you had that Australians, instead of just like gross ramen noodles, they all have mee goreng noodles. It's in like the same ramen noodle package. It's just like their their take on it,
Mhm.
but it's a famous Bali
Mhm.
dish because they love Bali, so their ramen is literally the Bali food.
Yeah, and we made
Kory
plans
ordered
then.
that.
Yeah, I had that. It was really good. And we made plans to go to an old cinema there that was called like the Sun Picture.
Yeah, the world's first or the world's oldest movie garden, outdoor movie
Yeah,
garden, whatever
outdoor
that
movie.
means.
Just been basically a movie theater outside, and we had plans to go see the new Mad Max movie, Australian movie in Australia. Why not? Let's see it. And that was at 8:30, and we had some time to kill in between getting dinner. So we were like, oh, let's just go get a drink at one of these bars, and I think it was called Robux or Rodux.
Yeah, I think
Robux.
Robex. I don't even know.
And it had two bars on it. One looked like a restaurant, and the other just said sports bar. And we couldn't decide, and we were like, all right, Marshall, what do you want to go to? Because he won on rock, paper, scissors. And he's like, let's just go to the sports bar. And so we get in there, everything's like normal. They got all, well, first off, they have greyhound racing on. They have every sport you can imagine on.
Terrible.
Greyhound racing was kind of sad. They also had horse chariot racing. I didn't even know that was a thing. Um,
So we ordered our ciders and we sat down, and
the
this
waitress.
waitress, I mean, they don't even really do waitresses in Australia, not at a place like this. But this worker who was a bartender came up to us with a bucket, and she was like, "Hey guys, oh, you just got here?" And we were like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, then it's probably rude of me to ask for a tip already, but can we have tips?" And
Yeah, so weird.
and Kory and Marshall were like, "What?" And I was just quiet because I was like, I don't like this. Because in Australia, you do not tip. So, like, this girl is just being very pushy for extra money. And so Kory tipped, and Marshall Venmoed her or something. And she made him tap his credit card on her, in between her breasts. That's where she put the card reader. And it was all downhill from there with that place.
Yeah, then like 20 minutes later, Maxie, I don't know who, someone looks over and they're like, "Oh my god,
That
this."
was Marshall because I didn't see until later.
Yeah, just like all the waitresses just started getting into like lingerie.
Like full on Victoria's Secret style, like full sets of
And then
lingerie.
later on, we were like, after another drink, we were like, let's just leave this place. I looked around, it was like, I think 50 men, 3 women in the
Yeah,
whole
I
place.
felt really embarrassed for them.
So we were like, oh, let's go to the other place. It's a little quieter, but it's still a pretty funny story. And
And
then,
no, they were having a wet t-shirt
yeah,
contest later.
we looked on, there was like an advertisement on the TV in the other one. And it was like wet t-shirt contest next door. So that's what they were doing at that place.
Yeah, but I feel like that happens every night with like the full on lingerie for tip money.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, that was cringy, but then we saw Mad Max Furiosa.
Good movie. I was shocked at how well they put on the show. Or like, I was not expecting like high quality or anything or good sound, but it was great. Outdoor cinema was fantastic. I would totally go back to that and see any movie. It was
Yeah,
perfect.
I had fun.
We got a nice bottle of wine in a bucket and some popcorn.
And then the next day at the caravan park, this little 12-year-old was riding his bike by us, and Kory shouted, "Do a wheelie!" And he was so sweet, and he did it for us, and it was super cool. Was that considered a wheelie?
Oh yeah, that was a wheelie.
It's like where you keep pedaling and riding with your back wheel.
Yeah, one wheel.
I always thought a wheelie was like when you pop up in the air.
No, that's a bunny hop.
Okay. So he did it for us. It was so cute, and he talked to us, and this 12-year-old was just so much like an adult. And I guess his name was Ryder. That's my brother's name. And his family's in a caravan traveling for
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. They're 9 months in. And he told us his favorite place so far in the 9 months was Bustleton, Western Australia.
Yeah, that's where we were.
That's where we were with Coogee. And we asked him why he liked it, and he listed.
Gave a very politically. He was like, "Well, the economy is great there."
No, he was like, the community is nice, the weather is great. It was just like a formal response to my question. He listed a few reasons.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, and he was a good kid. He went and it seemed like he was seeking friendship because he came back and talked to us for a bit.
Yeah, he came back, and then he kept kind of walking by and smiling at us. It was so cute. But yeah, that's a cool story. We made friends with a mature 12-year-old.
Yeah, and after we decided we wanted to go up to the Dampier Peninsula to a place called Signet Bay,
Signet Bay.
Signet Bay, and it was awesome. It was a 2-hour drive one way. It was on one road that used to be unpaved, but then they finally paved it. But before going out there was this spot on the peninsula of Broome that supposedly had ancient fossil dinosaur prints.
Yeah.
Did you see any? Saw fake ones.
I saw 3 big emu feet or something in a rock.
No, those were fake. They were like, this is what you have to look for.
Oh, they were fake?
Yeah, those are fake.
I thought we were speculating.
No, they were poured in concrete and then.
Oh, I saw none then.
Yeah, it was a fake spot.
But the rocks were so cool.
Rocks were pretty.
The rocks were really, really nice.
Here's my Google review. 2 stars. Rocks were really pretty. No dinosaur foots.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know what that was, but it was a nice little hike. And right before we went to Signet Bay, we went to this shopping mall to get groceries. And I started talking to this natural store owner, and I was like, oh, do you have tallow? Because I've been trying to find tallow moisturizer. Yes, beef tallow moisturizer, because it's really good for you. And I used to use it in the US, and I ran out here. So I've spent almost 5 months looking at all these natural stores and other stores to find tallow moisturizer, and no one sells it. They only sell it online, and you have to pay for shipping, and I don't have an address. So I've been going around for 5 months. Kory can vouch for this. I've been going around to hundreds of places, and I asked them if they have tallow, and everyone's like, oh, I wish it hasn't hit the brick and mortar stores yet, only online. And then I told this lady, oh yeah, I knew you wouldn't have it. No one has it. And she's like, no, I saw in a Facebook group in Broome that someone's selling it, handmade. And so she, looked it up. This old post she saw from Mother's Day, she looked it up. And she told me where to go. And it happened to be a little water sports store right down the mall hallway. And
yeah,
the workers were so confused why I came in to buy it, because it was, the owner's son was selling it on the counter. The son wasn't there and the owner wasn't there, but I bought it. It was really affordable, and it's amazing, and thank you to that lady.
Yeah, happy Maxie got her nice beef tallow.
Great moisturizer.
Yeah, and so the drive up to Signet, I said Signet Bay?
Yeah, Signet.
And it was one of the oldest pearl farms in Australia.
Yeah, I think the oldest.
The oldest. And
the South Seas oysters. They're massive.
Massive oysters.
I like the oysters better than the pearls. They're coated in this mother of pearl, shiny, shimmery.
That's what makes the pearls.
Yeah, it's basically the pearl coating.
I'm going to try and make a pearl in Brantford.
Yeah, the Monoese Bay
Pearl Company has started today. Or started that day.
Kory was scouting their business for
It seems
tips
pretty
and tricks.
easy, but the hardest thing is being the pearl technician and putting basically what they do is they put a shell into the muscle of the pearl, and then the shell, the oyster shell grows around it, and then it like creates the pearl. So I don't know. That was probably the worst explanation of how a pearl is made, but
So like something foreign gets in it, it tries to like get it out, and it tries to coat it with its shiny, beautiful mother of pearl coating.
yeah,
So it keeps coating it, keeps coating it, keeps coating it. It makes it like slippery, and then it ejects it. So you have to break open these oysters before it ejects it,
hmm
and grab the beautiful pearl, because once they eject it into the ocean floor, it like uncoats itself and becomes just like a particle again,
yeah,
and they use Mississippi shells
yeah.
to as like the middle of the pearl before the oyster coats it.
Yeah, we learned this on Pearl Tour at our caravan park that we luckily got into because we drove up there and just didn't have a place to stay, and we were like, oh well, there's a couple places up here, let's do it, and we got a unique place to stay because
It was gorgeous.
yeah, it was really gorgeous. It had a pool, it had a restaurant. It was also the Pearl Farm. They were kind of adapting to be able to survive, I guess. And our spot was like a bush camping spot that was like in the woods. That was some creepy crawlies were around the night we stayed there.
Oh my, spiders everywhere. Kory could only see them with his high-powered light, and he would see their eyeballs looking back at him in the grass.
And there was
Everywhere.
a 7 inch to 1 foot long grasshopper,
I think it
biggest
was
grasshopper. It was like a bird.
I think it was longer than 7 inches. It was like a thick bird, and it hit me. It was very
hmm
spastic, and then it went near Marshall's tent. But
Yeah.
speaking of Marshall's tent,
Oh, there was a lizard in Marshall's tent. Oh,
he said
like a
it crawled.
gecko.
He said it crawled out of his pillowcase.
Oh, it was so funny. He sent us a picture of it in
He
there.
was screaming. Well, not like a girl or anything, but it was just so funny.
We didn't see any crocs though, but that is a crocky area.
Yeah, gotta be croc-wise.
Yeah, so we basically just spent the days there, hanging out at the pool.
And
They
we
had
met this man at the bush
oh,
kitchen,
at
the
the dinner,
bush
yeah.
camp kitchen, and
If
he,
you've seen Seinfeld, he's a close talker.
yeah, and he kept trying to talk to us about our dinner really close, and then he had Marshall's ear and kept talking, and he's like, "Oh, you're from America," and he wanted to go straight into politics, and Marshall like kind of gracefully
Avoided the question, yeah.
Yeah, but
Exited the conversation.
it's funny he got to experience that.
hmm
And then their tour guides gave Kory free Tim Tams.
Oh, that was awesome. I love a good Tim
And
Tam.
they gave us tons of advice, which was great.
Yeah, and also the people, different people, they were like, the front desk was like, "Oh, are you Argentinian?" That was when I had my mustache, but I'm happy to inform everybody those days are over. The mustache is gone.
It lasted for the whole Marshall trip, but he just
It lasted
shaved
probably
it.
a month, probably 1 month.
Maybe.
Yeah. So it was a good run for the mustache, but I just feel clean.
Yeah, he looks so young.
Young man now.
Um,
Oh, and this is also, we noticed when we were in Broome, there was this family who was ridiculously loud, like playing Battleship right in the camp kitchen.
and the
And
kids were so naughty and screaming bad, bad, bad words, and like the mom was just oblivious, even though she was standing literally next to them. She just must have tuned out everything that they would say out.
yeah, and then we got to Signet Bay. We were like, no, they're here. They followed us. It's crazy how you like recognize some people and then you find them in a different area, and they were just obnoxious.
Crazy in the pool area, screaming really naughty words, and
But I will say, they were on the tour with us. The young kid, how old do you think he was?
probably like
10,
11.
11. And then the older sister was probably like 15, 13.
Yeah, 15.
They were so well behaved on the tour.
Yeah,
I don't
good for
know.
them.
I was not expecting that.
Could have fooled us.
Yeah.
But
You didn't fool us. You guys are bad kids.
But we had fun in the pool when they were in it. And they had a good happy hour there, a 2-hour happy hour. And yeah.
Yeah, that was
So-
fun. We love that spot. I'd go back to chill another day or two there.
Me too. Even though you can't swim because of the Crocs, but
Yeah.
It was very beautiful there.
And then it was time to head back to Broome because Marshall was leaving the next day and we were coming here. So we spent our last night in just an easy drive back, and we actually caught a market in Broome. And it was kind of shutting down as we were getting there. I heard some people saying it was a slow day, but it was cool. We walked around. Maxie almost bought a cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah, if it was like one size bigger because it was a little small. But Kory said it looked so good and that I would have to buy it. But
Yeah, I don't often say, Max, you have to buy this.
yeah.
But that hat looked good if it was one size bigger. Well, she took a picture of it. So
I don't have a big head though, but
just a big brain.
just for the record. And then I did get a bathing suit. I'm obsessed with it. Australians know it was a handmade bathing suit. Australians know how to make their bathing suits.
Mm-hmm.
But I had my second favorite mango smoothie ever.
Oh yeah, that was
followed
good.
by the one on Koh Samui. But that was great. And from a Bali food truck.
Yeah, and some of these caravan parks are pretty kosher. Like, so we were checking into a new one, and some you either get like the family one or one where it's just like business and it's just like random people working. You don't really get much, and this one was unique.
From the jump, the lady was like,
High
"Oh my
energy.
gosh, your smiles are beautiful, both of you. If you have kids, their smiles are going to be amazing."
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, "Thanks."
These two ladies were nuts. They instantly
She
were
had
like,
purple hair.
"Do you like Trump?"
Yeah, another one heard that we were American and came storming to the front desk from the back. And she was like, "Do you like Donald Trump?"
Yeah, and I told her that Donald Trump comes and buys his fish from me.
And
They bought it.
she kept saying, "Are you fair dinkum? Are you fair dinkum? Are you fair dinkum?" And
I had
Kory
no
was like,
idea what that
"What?
meant.
What?
Yeah.
What?" But that means, "Are you serious?" in Australian, and he just wasn't privy to that. And it was just, she did not like Trump, but she
Then
was,
she also tried to sell me like these pearl necklaces that they were selling there.
yeah, a third worker got involved, and they were like, "You should buy your wife an anniversary gift, these pearls." And they were pendants. So Kory was like, "It's only half a pearl. I would never buy her half. I would buy her the whole pearl." And they're like, "Buy two and glue
Yeah.
them."
Yeah, that was funny though. And then the main lady was like, "Oh yeah, my like brother's brother-in-law."
My brother-in-law, she said,
I was her
has
brother-in-law.
Trump
Tattooed to his stomach.
Yeah, so she showed us a picture the next day today.
Oh, it was so
I
funny.
have a picture of the brother-in-law's stomach if anyone wants to see that.
Yeah.
He's Australian, by the way.
Definitely, those people were unique, and
I liked him.
yeah, they were high energy people. And basically, we were coming back to Broome because when our camels got canceled, we rescheduled them for the last day that we were with Marshall.
Yeah, it was special. It was fun. Marshall went on Tex. Kory went on a training camel called...
That almost bucked me off.
He literally almost bugged Kory off.
He was called Red.
Red, and mine was Ringo, this really old, like 35-year-old, hunched over camel.
Camels are huge.
He was literally the last one out of all 12. I had to be on the last one. He was so old.
They were so much bigger than horses. They're huge, and it was such. I loved it. It was fun just chilling, walking on the beach.
It was so much fun and a beautiful sunset. I was just upset that I was the very last person because I didn't get to pet the camel behind me's head because they would just stick their heads up to the next person. So Kory was petting mine because he was in front of me, and like Marshall was petting Kory's, but I didn't have anyone's to pet. But they were so fun.
Yeah, and after the camel ride, we witnessed someone their car almost get stuck in the water.
Yeah.
Like, we were just getting off the camels, and they were, like, up to their back wheels, halfway up their back wheels in the water, and everyone was behind them, pushing them, trying to get them out, and they finally got out. And as we were walking down the beach, we saw them stall again, get stuck in the sand again, had to get helped out. And then finally, there's this ramp that leaves the beach. It's pretty steep. They took like 5 attempts to get up there, switched drivers, couldn't do it. Then they finally got out. It was just an absolute show. These two girls in this two-wheel drive car could not get off the beach.
It was really embarrassing, and there was like literally like a highway of cars leaving Cable Beach at sunset. Hundreds, all going so fast leaving the beach, and they really stalled the process there.
Yeah, they did.
No pun intended. But we finished off that night with some of Marshall's favorite thing.
Thai street food, and we have to give a shout out to Marshall because he was like, he asked them how spicy something came, and they said it was mild, and he said, "Can you make it extra spicy?"
And they gave him
So many
many
chilies,
chilies.
and he ate it like a champ.
He didn't even have water. And we kept saying he couldn't do it, but he did it.
He did it.
And right before we left today, we got to go to the Buddha Sanctuary in Broome. It was really
Saw
nice.
a 3.5 meter Buddha, crystal Buddha. It was like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, I think they claim it's like the tallest Buddha in Australia or something. It's made of quartz, and we got to make a manifestation wish and like do a little prayer and meditation, time of peace. It was really nice there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And then after we grabbed our coffee and whatnot and did that,
we let Marshall go on his way, and his long year and a half of traveling is now coming to an end, and all he wanted to do was get home and
not talk to anyone. Not meet any new friends or strangers.
Yeah.
So good luck, Marshall. Safe travels home.
Yeah,
we'll miss
it was a wonderful 3 weeks we had together. It was
wish he could be here to recap.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
We did. But that left us, Maxie and I, driving all the way 5 hours today.
Kory drove the whole 5 hours, and I just sat.
It was a quick 5 hours.
I just sat with no service because I never have service, and Kory usually always has service. And if you guys try to contact me, I never have service. Ever. Ever. I'm not even kidding. I'm so serious.
On our drive, we saw no service, but a lot of bulb trees, which are these like super fat, funky looking trees that I love.
We're obsessed with the bulb trees.
They're everywhere, and they're so funny.
They're so big. I don't know why they called the Southwest area big tree country when there's bulbs in the Northwest.
They're so wide and just funny looking.
Those are like bigger trees.
Yeah, they look like Harry Potter trees.
I love them. I'm gonna plant one at number 9.
Yeah, and we probably drove through the sketchiest town we've seen yet. It's called Fitzroy's Crossing, and we're like, why do these towns get like this? But I guess it's just because it's in the middle of nowhere.
We were terrified to go to the bathroom in the gas station.
No, it wasn't that bad. Like, probably areas in New Haven are worse than that, but it was just like...
Yeah, well, I was scared.
Yeah.
And then we got to the Mimby Caves.
Oh, it's such a beautiful area. Like, these black rocks surrounded by, like, reds, and it just...
It's so colorful. We did a 5K run at sunset. The mountain range was lit up bright pink with the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, like, the black mountain range to our right and the sunset range to the left. And, like, all these poofs of, like, light green grass.
Spinifex.
Yeah. Everything's called spinifex, and I think it's the poofs of grass. And then we ran by 4 perhaps wild horses.
Yeah, the horses are awesome.
We're on Aboriginal land, hosted by, like, an Aboriginal community. So it might be their horses, but they weren't, like, behind a fence or anything.
No, then they didn't have anything on them.
So it's so pretty here, and we're gonna try to hop on a tour of these caves tomorrow morning.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers promised, we get on a tour.
Yeah, help us manifest that, guys.
But yeah, I think that's recaps this last week and a half. Just about next time I have service, I'll get this out to everybody, and
yeah, we'll let you know in the next podcast if we actually got on the tour.
Yeah.
But you'll give us good luck.
Yeah. Awesome.
We love you guys.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope you have a good day.
Who's our next visitor?
Yeah, come on through.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.